Right friends, welcome back to Press Information Bureau News in Detail. This is for 24th week from 12th June to 18th June. The first news item is National Medical and Wellness Tourism Board. Third meeting was held under the chairmanship of Dr. Mahesh Sharma, Minister of State for Tourism and Culture. And you may have a doubt, what is this National Medical and Wellness Tourism Board? This was constituted in October 2015. The chairman is Minister for Tourism, and there is a lot of scope to promote medical and wellness tourism in our country because of the reason the cost aspect is quite favorable. The cost for various medical and wellness treatments is quite low in comparison to advanced countries. So, there is lot of scope for promoting this health and wellness tourism, and this is headed by Minister for Tourism. This is one aspect. And now previously subsequent to the second meeting, a committee was formed under the chairmanship of Dr. H.R. Nagendra to formulate a comprehensive roadmap for medical and wellness tourism. And the committee submitted the report for adoption by the board, where a standard framework for assessment and accreditation of Ayush facilities that cater to tourism have been created, or you can say tourism and various Ayush treatment strategies, they have to be combined. Ayush means Ayurvedic, Unani, Siddha, like that. So, for giving accreditation to various Ayush facilities and integrating it with the tourism is the way ahead. So, in that context, this committee recommended, right? So, if you go ahead, the Minister of State for Commerce and Industry, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, launched Startup India Virtual Hub. What is the meaning of Startup India Virtual Hub? This is online platform for all the stakeholders of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in India to discover, connect and engage with each other. If you go further, the hub attempts to solve the problem of information asymmetry and lack of access to knowledge, lack of access to various experts. All these things will be solved with this Startup India Virtual Hub. And it will host startups, investors, funds, mentors, academia, incubators, accelerators, corporates. So, all these will be brought onto the platform, or you can say it is an effort to create a marketplace where all the stakeholders like investors, like incubators, like accelerators, like mentors, all can interact on one single platform. That is the purpose of Startup India Virtual Hub. So, all the stakeholders can interact, exchange knowledge and enable each other to grow. That is the main purpose of Startup India Virtual Hub, right? Further details I have given here. The basic principle is to aggregate different offerings of the ecosystem. Right, let us go ahead. The next item is Department of Science and Technology launched a research program. What is the name? The name is Satyam. Satyam is Science and Technology of Yoga and Meditation under its Cognitive Science Research Initiative. And here the amalgamation of science as well as yoga and meditation. How is it possible? Your answer lies here. Yoga and meditation are interdisciplinary endeavors that interface with neuroscience, medicine, psychology, engineering, philosophy. So, yoga can contribute in a holistic way to derive integrated benefits. So, Science and Technology Ministry came into picture here. Basically, it is trying to promote yoga and meditation under the program Satyam, under its Cognitive Science Research Initiative, right? Look at the next one. Minister of State for Power, Coal, New and Renewable Energy launched Energy Conservation Building Code 2017, and this is jointly developed by the Ministry of Power and Bureau of Energy Efficiency. they developed it jointly. And here 2-3 important points, please don't forget. Energy Conservation Building Code, this is to look at the energy performance standards for new commercial buildings to be constructed across the country, and grading will be given. A building will be considered as ECBC compliant. ECBC compliant if it results in minimum energy saving of 25%, and when the energy saving is more than 35%, it is ECBC plus, and super ECBC, that status the construction company will get when it constructs a commercial building with the energy saving of 50%. And as I have already told you, this is developed by Bureau of Energy Efficiency with the technical support from United States Agency for International Development. So US8, that is the technical partner, you can say. So let us move on. Union Environment Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has participated in the celebrations of United Nations World Day to combat desertification, and the program was held at Bhonsi, this is near Gurugram in Haryana, and a report was prepared by Wildlife Institute of India of Dehradun, and the report was on mapping Aravalis. And please don't forget, Wildlife Institute of India is the autonomous institution under the Ministry of Environment. And another important aspect is a short film on the conservation of Goraya. What is Goraya? That is the house sparrow. Nowadays, disappearance of house sparrow is the main problem. So, a short film on the conservation of Goraya was also screened, right? And I would like to tell you more about this World Day to combat desertification. It is celebrated on 17th June, and the Environment Minister said that India is committed to achieve land degradation neutrality. Land degradation neutrality by the year 2030, that is one aspect. And this year's slogan is our land, our home, our future. Our land, our home, our future. Right, having learned this, let us go ahead. History of World Day to combat desertification. This June 17 is observed as the World Day to combat desertification because the United Nations Convention to combat desertification was adopted in Paris on June 17, 1994 and subsequently ratified in December 1996. And please do not forget, India is a signatory to this convention on October 14, 1994 and subsequently it ratified it, and the nodal ministry is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. This is all about India. And if you go further, there are three important conventions which are the brainchild of Earth Summit. Please do not forget 1992 Rio de Janeiro Summit, popularly known as Earth Summit. It resulted into successful adoption of three United Nations conventions. One is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and all of you are familiar with the Paris Climate Pact. So this Paris Climate Pact is based on this Framework Convention on Climate Change. The second convention is Convention on Biological Diversity, and the third one is Convention to combat desertification, which we are discussing about now. So the objective of UNCCD is to combat desertification and mitigate the effects of drought and desertification. Right friends, let us look at the next one. Narmada Control Authority has cleared the final raising of Sardar Sarovar Dam in Gujarat by lowering the gates. So you can say this Sardar Sarovar Dam is finally completed. So the capacity, or you can say live storage capacity, increased from 1565 to 5740 million cubic meters, and at the same time power generation is now 1450 megawatt. So here the point to note is Sardar Sarovar project. This is on river Narmada, and this would primarily meet the water requirements of drought prone and desert areas of Gujarat and Rajasthan. Please do not forget. And this is the picture of Sardar Sarovar project, popularly known as SSP. Look at the next one. India ratified International Labour Organization's two important conventions, Convention 138, Convention 182, and this is in tune with the attainment of Sustainable Development Goal 8.7 related to curbing of child labour. And another important aspect is India overall ratified 6 out of 8 core ILO conventions, and the other 4 conventions, that means 2 conventions now India ratified, and the other 4 conventions which India already ratified relates to abolition of forced labour, equal remuneration, and no discrimination between men and women in employment and occupation, and the other one is right at work, right. So all these 4 conventions were ratified by India previously, and now India ratified 2 conventions, 2 core conventions of ILO, and these 2 core conventions, please look into this. Convention number 138, Convention number 182. It is about minimum age for employment, and India is 170th ILO member state to ratify this convention. So now the minimum age for employment is 14 years, and they are permitted to work in family run enterprises. That is different story. And the second convention is with regard to the prohibition of children in the worst forms of child labor. So this is convention number 182. So child labor must be prevented in slavery, forced labor, trafficking, and use of children in armed conflict, etc. So India brought Child Labor Prohibition Act, and subsequently it ratified 2 conventions. So finally, please understand, convention number 138 prohibits child labor up to 14 years of age, and convention number 182 prohibits engaging children in hazardous occupations, right. Then further information I have given here, and one important aspect is to meet the objectives of child labor free society. The National Child Labor Project is there that has been aligned with the changes in this act. So one important project is National Child Labor Project. So please do not forget, National Child Labor Project is a rehabilitative scheme for child and adolescent labor. So under this scheme, children are provided with the bridge education, occasional training, all these things, so as to bring them into the mainstream. And one more important aspect is labor is in the concurrent list. Let us go ahead. Union Minister for Water Resources stated that 200 engineering students from various colleges along river Ganga have been enrolled for extensive biotechnical study of river Ganga from Gangotri right up to Ganga Sagar. Gangotri is in Uttarakhand, Ganga Sagar is in West Bengal. So here 2 students of each group, they will be accompanied by volunteers from Nehru Yuva Kendra and Ganga Vichar Manch, and they will extensively study a stretch of 25 kilometers each. And these students will also interact with the local residents to study the social impact of river Ganga on their lives, right. If you look further, the Minister for Social Justice and Empowerment chaired the second meeting of National Council of Senior Citizens. What is this National Council of Senior Citizens? Please look into this slide. This is as per National Policy for Older Persons. Under the National Policy for Older Persons, a National Council for Older Persons was constituted in 1999, and the chairman is Minister for Social Justice and Empowerment. That is one aspect, and this NCOP is the highest body to advise the government in the formulation and implementation of various programs for the aged persons, and subsequently its name was changed to National Council of Senior Citizens. Now the name is National Council of Senior Citizens, and National Council of Senior Citizens advises central and state governments with regard to various issues pertaining to the welfare of senior citizens, right? So the second meeting of National Council of Senior Citizens was held recently, and Minister explained about Rashtriya Vayoshri Yojana. We discussed number of times about Rashtriya Vayoshri Yojana, so I am skipping this, but please do not forget there is one program, National Policy for Older Persons, and now the name of National Council for Older Persons is National Council for Senior Citizens. Please do not forget. Look into the next one. In view of the completion of 3 years, as I have already told you, various ministries are listing their achievements. Similarly, Minister for Water Resources, River Development flagged various programs during the past 3 years. First one is PRADHAN KRISHI SINCHAYEE YOJANA. This is basically to complete 99 irrigation projects on fast track mode by December 2019. That is one aspect. And here the second important point is, here the expenditure will be by the center as well as the states. Out of rupees 77,000 crores, central share is 31,000 crores. And for this purpose, long-term irrigation fund was created, which is managed by NABARD. Look at the second achievement, Ken-Betwa link project. This can be a potential question in the future. Ken-Betwa, these two are the tributaries of Yamuna river, and linking of these two rivers, that means water from Ken basin will be shifted to Betwa. So it is a transfer of surplus water of Ken basin to Betwa basin. And if you look at this, this will immensely benefit Bundelkhand region, which is spread across two states, Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. And here Panna Tiger Reserve is being inundated. Part of Panna Tiger Reserve is being inundated. So not only tigers but other wildlife will also be affected because of inundation. That is the real concern. And if you look at Pancheshwar Dam, Pancheshwar Development Authority was set up jointly by India and Nepal in 2014 for execution, operation and maintenance of Pancheshwar multi-purpose project on river Sharda. And 2-3 important points I would like to tell you. The other name for Sharda is Mahakali, Kali God or Kali Ganga, and this Sharda river is a tributary of Ghagra river. Ultimately, Ghagra river is the tributary of Ganges. So please do not forget about this important river of this Sharda or Mahakali or Kali God or Kali Ganga. And for most of the length between Uttarakhand and Nepal, for most of the length between Uttarakhand and Nepal, it forms the boundary between India and Nepal. This is very important, right? And this boundary between India and Nepal, or you can say between British India and Nepal, was as per Sugauli Treaty of 1816. These things please do not forget. Then National Mission for Clean Ganga, this was also highlighted by the ministry. National Mission for Clean Ganga, under this Namami Gange program, is an integrated conservation mission approved by the Union Cabinet in 2015 with an outlay of 20,000 crores for 5 years, and it is 100% centrally funded program with provision for 15 years of operation and maintenance. So Namami Gange program, it is 100% centrally funded, provision for 15 years of operation and maintenance is there, and this was cleared by the Union Cabinet with 20,000 crores for a period of 5 years in May 2015, right? So Union Cabinet also approved a hybrid annuity-based public-private partnership model for construction of sewage infrastructure, and this hybrid annuity model we will discuss sometime later. So, these are the important aspects highlighted by the Minister for Water Resources. Then Dr. Mahesh Sharma launched the implementation of National Mission on Cultural Mapping of India. This National Mission on Cultural Mapping of India, this is part of Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat. Please recollect, Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat, this was launched to commemorate the birth centenary of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, and now this National Mission on Cultural Mapping of India, which is a part of Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat, was launched from Goverdhan block in Mathura district of Uttar Pradesh. And please do not forget, the birthplace of Deen Dayal Upadhyay is a village near Mathura, and the purpose of this National Mission on Cultural Mapping is basically to convert the vast and widespread cultural canvas of India into an objective cultural map. So, it is the mechanism to fulfill the aspirations of whole artist community. If you go further, here the important aspect is, read this para, you will be very clear. The main aim is no cultural talent or heritage should remain unattended. If it is talent, it must be nurtured. If it is heritage, it must be conserved. So, that is the theory of this. So, this mission encompasses data mapping, demography building, formalizing the processes, and bringing all the cultural activities under web-based umbrella for better results. So, it seeks to open a direct channel of communication of artists with the government and peer-to-peer communication among artists, right. So, this is all about this mission. Look into the next one. Ministry of Urban Development as well as Ministry of Environment have launched National Capacity Building Project in 68 cities. And why this capacity building is required? This is because of the reason in the year 2016, the Environment Ministry has notified 6 waste management rules. These are the 6 waste management rules, but proper capacity building is required in urban areas. So, as to undertake the task of capacity building, now National Productivity Council will act as National Program Coordinator, and the implementation agency is the Central Pollution Control Board. So, here the capacity building project seeks to strengthen institutional capabilities in urban local bodies so as to promote, reduce, reuse and recycle, which is popularly known as 3R initiative. So, here the capacity building will be created in urban areas to implement effectively the 6 rules notified by the Environment Ministry, and for that purpose, for creating capacity augmentation, here National Program Coordinator is National Productivity Council, and National Implementation Agency is Central Pollution Control Board. Another important aspect is this National Productivity Council is an autonomous body under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Please don't forget. Look at the next one. A commemorative postage stamp was released in view of 250th anniversary of Survey of India. And with regard to Survey of India, it completed 250 years of its existence. And another important aspect is it is under the Department of Science and Technology, and the origin of Survey of India you can trace back to 1767 when Major James Rennell was appointed as Surveyor General of Bengal, and it is the oldest scientific department in India, one aspect, and the second one is it is one of the oldest survey establishments in the world, right. So, Survey of India has the distinct honor of printing the first postage stamp of India and the first copy of the Constitution of India. These are very important, right? The last one, if you see, under the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin, rural Uttarakhand and rural Haryana have declared themselves as open defecation free states. These are 4th and 5th. Already 3 are there. Sikkim, Himachal Pradesh and Kerala. They were the first 3 states to be declared ODF, and now these 2 states, that is Uttarakhand and Haryana, these are declared as open defecation free states, and total it became 5 now. And nationally the government stated that the sanitation coverage after Swachh Bharat mission during the past 2.5 years, the sanitation coverage increased from 42% to 64%. Right friends, with this let us conclude Press Information Bureau for the week. Have a nice day. Thank you.